Hello and welcome to Ups and Downs, the podcast that shares successful and failure stories from the entrepreneurial world of Oulu, Finland. Today in the studio we have Krystof. Krystof, thanks for accepting the invitation. How are you doing today?
Thanks for inviting me. Yeah, I'm fine. Thanks.
Do you mind introducing yourself briefly?
Sure. Um, so what I do is I'm a solopreneur. I do Notion design and something like productivity coaching. But my big dream, is helping organizations move closer towards self-management because that's a organizational model that I believe in, and so I'm building my path towards that. And yeah, it's gonna take time, but that's okay. At least I have something to do until I get there.
All right. Um, we met, was it during Startup Weekend? Or I think
Probably
it was a week or so before like Startup Weekend in
startup weekend or
September.
maybe startup. Yeah, startup
I
weekend.
think it was
Yes,
Startup
yes.
Weekend, yeah. And the idea there, you had the idea about scale wisdom, right?
Oh yeah.
Or
The-
it was like an idea from before that you continued like working and you're still working on.
yeah, yeah.
Is the name still like scale wisdom or
Scaling wisdom. Yeah.
scaling wisdom? Okay.
I'm not using that name too much nowadays. My newsletter, when it's active, is called that. But yeah, for oh sorry.
It's all right.
Uh, yeah, the idea there was during startup weekend we actually called it scaling teal because teal is like one of the words sometimes used for this self-management model. And so there we were just playing around with how could we try to make it scalable, because going into organizations and helping them redesign their organizational model, that's not scalable when you have to do it like in person. So during startup weekend we were thinking about how could we maybe build some tools for that. But they actually incentivized us, encouraged us to just like look into like the proper methodology, like how would you actually do this, like what kind of workshops would you do. And then during Startup Express, at first I was still working on this, and we renamed it to first Scaling Wisdom, then Wisdom at Work, because actually, this like Scaling Wisdom is like my name, and whenever I'm working on a new project, it's like a good symbolic moment to like pick the name together. I think for me it was always even when we were in a band, like when we picked the name together, like it was I think it's important.
All right.
So that was that. But yeah, then I realized, also with the help of mentors like Jan and some others, that I gotta focus on like only the Notion, like just getting the Notion design stuff off the ground is like plenty of work, and being split kind of in this like mid-term and short-term kind of directions or streams, like it wasn't viable. So I put that on the ice, this work on like self-management and stuff. And yeah, for now it's 100% Notion. And once I establish myself there, then because for me the plan is, okay, for now it's actually Notion designed primarily for solopreneurs. The next step will be start working more with organizations. Then when you're building them something like a workspace in a Notion, it's quite natural to start talking with the organization. Okay, so what are actually your processes? How could you optimize your processes? And from that, maybe okay, so but actually, what are you trying to achieve here, right? What's your why of your organization? Because if they don't have that articulated, it can make other stuff very difficult. And from that, it could hopefully be just like one final step further to actually get into full like organizational coaching,
All
as I usually call this.
I want to bring you like a few steps back in the first place. Like how you end up in Oulu.
In Oulu,
You came here to study, right?
Yeah.
Right.
I did my master's here. Do you want to hear the decision process behind like picking the master's here, or
Why exactly all? Like, I don't know of many universities northern than
yeah?
this point.
I was looking because my bachelor's is in what's it called? Adult education and personal management. Um, and later I got more interested in like using AI in this, like workplace learning and stuff. And so I was looking for a program in Europe because I knew I want to study abroad. But I also knew that I want to stay in Europe because it's just much easier for me, right? No hassles with residence permit or anything. So yeah, I was looking for a master's degree in Europe for education in or technology in education. And here I found the one like most explicitly targeted at that. Like my master's here is called Learning, Education, and Technology. It I didn't find any programs more like explicitly focused on this. Most others would be, something general like learning sciences, and within that, some kind of yeah focus on technologies in some subjects. But here it was like in the name, so
Okay.
it was. And also, Finland has this reputation for having the best education system, right? So that was also a factor, I think.
What do you think about it now, like after graduating?
Do I have to answer?
Yes.
No. Yeah, well, the first semester was great. Even during COVID, it was really good. What I liked because it was a different approach. Like there was a big emphasis on collaboration projects, like working a lot with others, and but also self-regulation, having stuff like writing your learning journals that they were called, right? And the whole model of teaching without the teacher really like interacting with you a lot was very interesting because in my bachelor's, the teachers were actually really overwhelmed, and so seeing that it can actually work, you can teach courses with very little like effort from the teacher once some preparation is done. That's I think that's valuable. But when you get too many courses taught like that, it's kind of yeah. So the second semester especially was very disappointing, and then yeah, like the studies themselves. At some point, I was like, I expected more. So in that, it was a bit of a disappointment, but my thesis supervisor was absolutely awesome. I was super, yeah, she helped me so much. And so I was very happy about that collaboration. And more importantly, actually having this feeling like, oh, like this is not what I came for, but I'm not gonna like waste time here. I'm not gonna just throw away another 2 years because, losing years during my studies was kind of a recurring theme in my life. So, I felt very strongly like I'm not gonna throw away another 2 years, and so that definitely was probably the major impulse for looking into how can I make it worth my time here, and so deciding, okay, I'm gonna like go into pursuing entrepreneurship, learning about that, experimenting in that, and so even though the studies themselves were disappointing, like I do not regret coming here at all because yeah, the whole startup ecosystem here and the support for entrepreneurship, like that's awesome. So I think I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be.
Good to hear. Speaking of entrepreneurship, yeah, is when was the first time when you attempted the solopreneur path or like
Mhm.
the entrepreneurial one? Is this like with the current things that you're working on, or was there like a project before that?
Yeah, there were like I started thinking about it, yeah, some time ago, maybe I don't know, 6 years or so, when I first really started thinking like, yeah, this is something that I would like to do at some point, because actually I think mm, I was a lot influenced, like yeah, roughly 6 years ago by Jordan Peterson. He has all this like take responsibility for your life and like try to aim high as you can, right? And then that got coupled. So that, I think that was a great message, helped me a lot. And also, you know, I was going through one one big heartbreak at that point. And what I found was that thinking about what could I do, like really helped me get my mind off that. Like thinking about, okay, what can I change? What can I start working on? Like kind of trying to throw myself into work. And so that roughly those 6 years ago, it was when I first started again about not again when I started thinking about, you know, okay, I think I phrased it like I want to help make Czech Republic into economically, intellectually, spiritual superpower or something like that. You know, something ridiculous like that. But it was, you know, kind of tongue in cheek. But what came from that was like, okay, and the best way to that, like how to make some kind of startup. Do I know how to do that? No. So I started looking into how could I learn. And one idea was to get an MBA, but actually then, like in my bachelor's, there was opened like the best course that I took the whole semester. It was taught by, my now still very good friend and mentor, Honza Vesely. And it was called like Innovation Laboratory. And yeah, it was exactly like he was just teaching us the tools about, you know, like lean canvas and kind of like experimenting, rapid prototyping, stuff like that. And it was so great because it was kind of, you know, like an accelerator, kind of like Startup Express, but within our not curriculum, but as an elective at uni. And so it was also so great that you could come there with your own project, right? And then it wasn't theoretical at all. Like, okay, here's the idea. Okay, now fill out your lean canvas. Okay, you have some hypotheses. Now go test them. And he would like, as soon as possible, start sending us to like talk to our potential customers, right? And start getting these like points of feedback, getting some kind of validation. And then everyone would come back and being like, oh no, we found out like our idea is stupid and it won't work. And then like that was one of the main learning points was he would be like, yeah, you found out that your idea is stupid, right? Well, that's normal. don't, you know, feel bad at all because like, yeah, this is like the scientific method applied to entrepreneurship. And it was just so powerful. And so, yeah, after that, one project I started working on there, I then took that into one, it's called Social Impact Award, and I made it into the finals with that, which also came with like participation in an accelerator. And so since then, you know, I was always kind of on the lookout of what I want to do. I knew that I will want to, get into entrepreneurship at some point. And so when I got here, it just everything came together that, okay, I will never have a better opportunity, right? So, yeah.
Thanks for sharing that. Interesting. And speaking about the support that Finland provides for the entrepreneurs, do you mind sharing a bit more about the Startera grant
Oh,
and
Startera, yeah.
how exactly is it working? What are the requirements? As I don't think that many people know about it, and it's like a good starting point, so to say. So yeah.
Yeah, so I think officially, it's actually a kind of like unemployment benefit. I had to actually make an account with whatever the unemployment agency is. I don't quite recall like what are the exact requirements for you to be eligible. I know that you cannot be a student, so I had to first graduate before I could apply. Or I didn't have to graduate, but you can, you know, I would, while even before finishing my studies, I could apply, but I had to say, okay, I will start from the 1st of September, which is like a day after I officially graduated, right? So there's that. Like you have to be full time into that, and actually, even one step before Startiraha, like the support of Finland is just Business Oulu, and just being able to email them and ask for help and ask for, because yeah, without them I wouldn't know about Startiraha. I wouldn't know how to fill it out. But they, for me, it was Shifat Islam. She helped me, yeah, like step by step with everything, how to fill out the application. So that was tremendously helpful. And I would say the biggest part of the application is you have to write quite a long description application of like your business, where there's like what are your competencies relevant, like why are you equipped to be able to do this, what's the business about, why is it new or innovative, stuff like that. Do some kind of SWOT analysis. And then you also have to fill out kind of like financial calculations or estimates. But fortunately for me, because it's a simple service business, it wasn't that difficult. But still, like Shefat helped me with that a lot. And yeah, then I got it. And it amounts to like on average like 600 euros per month, which you can spend on whatever. Like it's
Okay.
not you can
Mandatory to
only
do.
buy I don't know, equipment or something. Like some of these grants, like proof of concept or something like
I
that.
think it's just for services, if I'm not mistaken. The proof of concept one.
Yeah. Like you can right. You can use them to pay for something that you had to buy for developing that concept. But and this you can spend on your rent, on food and stuff. So it gives you a runway for, well, first for 6 months, and then you can reapply to extend it for another 6. Yeah.
Okay. Nice. I don't think that many countries have these services within the country, as like, for example, what Business Finland and in particular like what Business Oulu are doing, the support that they're providing when it comes to entrepreneurship. Like whatever question you have, they're going to answer it. And
yeah, exactly. It's great, and I also admire like how they're able to work on developing the ecosystem and all the events that they organize or co-organize all the time. Like it's great. I'm thinking whether it's maybe a bit easier in a smaller city like Oulu, but still, it's definitely something that I would want to take back to Prague.
grab
at
the
some
concept.
Point. Yeah.
Okay. Speaking of that, are you planning to go back to Prague?
Yeah, at some point for sure, but I'm in no rush.
All right.
Probably not yet, but yeah, at some point definitely.
Okay. Another question that comes to my mind: what are the next steps when it comes to the solopreneur path?
Well, the very next steps right now, what I'm working on is like, when was it? The week before last, I ran the first like Notion workshop about personal project management, how we can basically apply this getting things done methodology in Notion. And I built a free template, so now I have a lead magnet that I'm pretty proud about. And the workshop recording, I think, also turned out pretty well. So one thing would be just, finding groups that I could sort of pitch this to and just like running the workshops again and again with like, as many members of my target group as possible. I also want to start reaching out to like accelerators in Finland and I don't know, like investment funds who have, like portfolio companies and offer them, like free workshops for their portfolio startups, let's say. And another kind of part in what I want to do is really start cranking up my content production. And so kind of improving my system for the whole thing. Ideally, I would be able to post something every day, something, not just a snapshot of, oh, here's my coffee that I'm drinking while working today. But something, it can be small, but something that's still like a bit useful, some little tiny piece of information. So create a system and workflow for being able to do that. and then, well, then I will be able to teach another workshop about that. um, yeah, those are the big things, like running, and of course, like in the meantime, doing all the client work that comes along. But that's, that's always there. Uh, so yeah, these are the two main ones, like finding more opportunities to run the workshops and kind of developing the content game.
The daily content is a tough thing, at least
Yes.
for me. Yeah, I started posting one short clip a day for 30 days.
Uh-huh.
It's like a cut from the previous podcast that I've done.
Mm-hmm.
And it's still tough to stay consistent, every time think of a new caption.
Yeah.
And it just takes quite a bit of time and effort.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I would say consistency and trusting the process. Now I'm seeing that in some of the socials, like the views are increasing,
Mm-hmm.
which is nice.
Mm-hmm.
At least you can see um, some improvement there, because in the beginning, like brand new account starting from scratch,
Mm-hmm.
it was just seeing the content out and then friends and family there, which is nice too. But yeah, remind me of speaking to you about Lutes and their take-off program. They're going to have like a boot camp 15th and 16th next Monday and
Ah,
Tuesday.
okay.
I'll be going there. They're based in La Paranta.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be going there as a mentor.
Mm-hmm.
They're going now. It's about ideation and yeah,
Mm-hmm.
market research. So as they're part of like Lutes. I don't know if I mentioned,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, they're one of the other entrepreneurship societies in Finland. So I think your workshop might be a good fit for
Very
them.
cool.
I
Yeah.
have to connect
Put it
you
in my
them.
Notion
Yeah.
straight away. No, but that's well, that's one of the key habits that I teach, like capture. As soon as
True.
something you said, remind me about, and like I wouldn't remember to remind you
Yeah.
about anything if I didn't immediately, like write it down. So, yeah.
Yeah, but before this, you wanted to say something, at least.
I was gonna ask you about like your system, like, yeah, how do you come up with, yeah, what does your system look like for content creation at the moment?
For content creation? That's a really good question. It's a little bit chaotic, in all honesty. I'm trying to, basically around 4 months ago or so, I challenged myself to post one podcast episode every single Monday, no matter what. And I'm trying to pre-record them in advance. Apparently, this one is coming quite in the last minute. I have to edit and post it today, which is fine.
Suspected that.
Yeah, no, I have planned like for the upcoming weeks, but for this concrete one, yeah, the last couple of days were a bit tough getting. I don't know, maybe it was because of the holidays and like the weekends. This might be one of the things, but basically, I have a reminder in my calendar every day. Every day it's a different time, which I don't think it helps particularly. Um, to dedicate this these like, let's say, 20 to 30 minutes just to publish the episode. I thought it was going to be like literally 2 minutes to upload it on all socials. Nope. Like running 4 to 5 socials is not that easy. But yeah, when it comes to getting the content itself, like at least the short content now I'm speaking about, I would say I'm dedicating an hour a week or so just to edit, process, and prepare the content for like the upcoming days. This would happen today again.
Yeah.
At some point. Yeah, for the content, this today's like day 6 out of 30 for the short content, and I have around month and a half more with the podcast, and afterwards we'll see how it's going.
Yeah.
It's challenging in many ways. It's like the learning curve is incredible. Like before this, I've recorded, I would say, like 2 videos and edited them, and I thought I was okay-ish. No, it was nothing to do. Maybe I had like some knowledge when it comes to color grading and like just basic cuts,
Mhm.
but yeah, the sound and all the problems that needed to be fixed afterwards, it was quite interesting.
Yeah. I tried recording videos. That was actually the first thing that I did, as my kind
Mm.
of entrepreneurial uh, experiment. But I was spending so much time on editing, and I was like, I felt like it's super repetitive task that
Mm.
is not really teaching me much. Like I enjoyed preparing the script and stuff, like researching it, blah blah blah. But then the editing took, I would say, majority of time, and it didn't feel like it's giving me anything. So when I restarted content, I was like, I'm gonna write, and
Yeah,
that suits me much better because like, yeah, there's not. I mean, there's a lot of editing, but the editing still feels like you're thinking,
yeah,
right? It's not just fiddling in a tool. But I heard, I don't know if you heard about Descript.
no,
Apparently, yeah, like I might return to video at some point because running tutorials for Notion definitely works much better in with video. And this script, like apparently, it generates a transcript of the video, and then you can edit the video by editing the transcript,
oh
right?
really?
So
Okay.
that's yeah. I think I heard recommendations for this script like quite a lot of times. So yeah, check that out.
I will. The script. I'll note it in a bit. I'm recording the something here now. But speaking of other tools that I'm using, I'm editing in like DaVinci Resolve, and like
Mhm.
recently, a couple of weeks ago, I found like that there is like this multicam setting which saves a lot of time.
Mhm.
Basically, the let's say 2 or 3 cameras, or however they are, you just sync them together, and then afterwards you can just pick like from which one the picture will come.
Mhm.
And at least for podcast, I'm not doing that much editing. It's mainly putting like an intro song and like an intro picture in the beginning and then at the end. So I would say that this isn't like that big of a pain like for me. I'm not spending that much time.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, when it comes to the short content, I feel that now with like AI, there are like so many great tools when you can just put your YouTube link and then they will chop the content for you,
Mhm.
and they're quite accurate.
Yeah.
25 to 30 spot on shorts, which can be edited like afterwards too. But
Okay.
yeah, I would say it's at least I'm happy with the results so far.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, I gotta. Yeah, when I'm thinking about how to like actually improve the system, one is, yeah, definitely like developing some kind of custom prompts for myself so that I can, um, just like run them whenever I need, especially for kind of like brainstorming. Because what I do, I try to capture
Mm.
ideas when I have them about, either some interesting observations or whatever. But then the idea, like, there are always many angles that you can look at it, right? Like you can give a step-by-step guide, or you can give like a list of mistakes or whatever. Like
Yeah.
there are all of these like content structures, and so, for example, having prompt just like, okay, here's the topic, give me like 3 ideas for each of these
Mm.
structures, and then you can just pick, right? And that doesn't feel like the AI is really like creating something for me, because I would then still come up with the well, basically the content of it, like the main idea.
Mm.
But I think also, using it kinda for the copywriting, like, okay, here's the idea, here's how like the first step goes into the second and third and fourth, but finding how to use AI for, actually taking that and writing it in some LinkedIn worthy language, let's say, that would also be a big time saver. Yeah, and in general, just developing structures for kind of coming up with
Mhm.
ideas fast. Yeah, that's the plan. Hopefully, I'll be able to make some significant progress on that this week.
Crossing fingers and yeah, wishing you the best of luck with that.
Thank you.
I find it quite challenging when it comes to content.
Yeah, well, when I figure it out, I will definitely be making the workshop. So,
Yeah. And at least to me, I don't know, but when it comes to podcasts,
Mhm.
it's way easier to just speak with someone else.
Yeah.
I tried recording one episode alone, and it was mainly AI. I wrote like around 10,000 words and then tried to create a video out of
Mhm.
it. It worked to some degree. I wasn't quite happy with it and decided to remove it.
Mhm.
Uh, so I don't know. I wanted to try to do like educational videos when it comes to AI, maybe
Mhm.
the usage of like different models. And yeah, the best way and the easiest one, like how I see it, is just open the tools, play with them, try to build something, and fail, fail, fail.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, I wanted to ask you of a book recommendation.
Mm. Book about what?
It's up to your favorite book.
Well, if it can be any book, then I guess the book that influenced me most was actually The Alchemist
Mm.
by Coelho. I hope that's how it's pronounced. But in terms of kind of more entrepreneurship slash productivity, I really two foundational authors for what I do were David Allen, so that would be Getting Things Done by David Allen and Building a Second Brain by Tiago Forte. Yeah, those are kind of core to what I help people with. Plus also either Tiny Habits and Atomic Habits.
Mm.
Like these, I would say are my core three in terms of productivity. Notion doesn't really have any books on them, but YouTube's full of those. And when it comes to entrepreneurship, which did I like? I think I just I'm not intending to quite finish it, but I read like 2/3 of Million Dollar Weekend by Noah Kagan. That's pretty good. Actually, recently I reread the Show Your Work by Austin Kleon. That's also great. You know, I really like the mindset about just like don't worry like how good it is, and just like start kind of documenting your work. Don't make it anything too fancy. Just like start sharing something every day, basically. And yeah, because it also kind of makes the progress for you tangible. And I really liked the quote there from, I don't remember the name, but it was, give what you have to someone. I don't know, give what you have to someone you have no idea how valuable it could be, or something along those lines, which is really nice, right? Like it gives you the idea that, like, yes, this thing that I'm creating, like it's kind of shit, but if no one likes it, like it's not going to do anything bad to me. And there is a small chance that if I like keep sharing this stuff, like at some point it might help someone a little bit. And like if you stop caring about, you know, what people think about you, then like why wouldn't you do that if it can help someone potentially? Then yeah. So yeah, that one was also great. And then I don't know, there's a lot.
Quite a few books already. From the ones that you mentioned, I think I've read only Atomic Habits.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But okay, my next question is, how would you make Finland a better place?
Oh, I would make it warmer and have it more
Warmer.
light in winter, especially.
Okay, that's a really good answer.
Oh, and fewer mosquitoes in summer.
Mosquitoes, all right.
Yeah.
All right, I haven't experienced that yet.
Well, don't go close to water.
And maybe lastly, any events that are happening in Oulu or like in Finland within the next few weeks, months that you're excited about and you would recommend?
I mean, I definitely will recommend to anyone the startup weekend. Is it this weekend?
Yeah, it's actually this weekend.
Yeah. So even if you didn't sign up, I think you can still go there on Sunday, right? To just like watch the
Friday. Ah, oh yeah, yeah, on Sunday
yeah,
too.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
the
Pitching the demo
pitching.
day.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So that will, yeah, I definitely want to go at least there. I won't be participating because I have my own stuff to work on. You know, I'm not looking for a startup idea at the moment, but the first experience was really valuable. So that was great. And then, well, of course, there will be Vappu again soon. So, yeah, preparation for all these students. It feels like here the school year ends so early, right? And then everyone just goes home.
And like beginning of May.
Yeah,
I wasn't expecting that. Like it's a bit crazy.
yeah. It's strange, but whatever.
I don't know if it feels like that it's way, way too early. But on the other hand, like the students are starting in August too,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, exactly. And
Hmm.
yeah, I mean it makes sense, but yeah, it's like you don't get to go on camp. But I mean, I guess the students don't really need that. When it's already kind of nice outside, because like the weather this winter was utter bullshit. Like, what the hell? Like last week, it's already April, right? Last week we had a day when there was -15 and snowing like half the week. Even today in the morning,
Yeah.
it was snowing. Like, ugh. I'm done with this. But fortunately, like it seems like we made it, and now it should all start melting.
But it's crazy. Like 2 weeks ago, it was quite sunny, like in consecutive days, and I don't
Yeah,
know, the degrees were like 3, 4, 5. It felt like warmer than that, and yeah, last week was really tough.
yeah, it
Oh
is
my
what
god.
it is. But now, hopefully, we're headed for summer. Finally.
When when will this day be?
Well, probably, I guess this week we might get summer on Thursday, or I mean this year. Yeah, Thursday
Crossing
summer would
fingers.
be
Let's
fun.
see. Anything else that you want to say?
No, thanks for inviting me. This was fun, and
Where can the listeners find you?
probably the best would be LinkedIn. That's where I'm posting at the moment when I'm posting.
I will touch
Yeah,
your.
so just Krystof Ekl, and yeah, I have a website, but I'm not really posting anything there. So no point directing you there. So just LinkedIn
All
will
right.
probably be the easiest.
Thanks for the chat. It was a pleasure as always, and thanks to the viewers for making it to the end.
Likewise.
Great week ahead, and see you next Monday.